Good evening. Thanks for joining us at Awaz News. I'm Kubrali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada. Attack on woman shot in face with pellet gun was random, Toronto police. Liberals take first step toward pharmacare with bill for birth control diabetes meds. Person assaulted outside downtown warming center earlier this week has died, police say. Video shows fire at downtown Toronto encampment after propane tanks ignite. Son of Blue Jays reliever hit by car in Florida out of ICU. Daylight shooting in Rexdale leaves one man dead. Toronto hopes to bring in $150 million in annual revenue with proposed commercial parking tax. Those were the headlines, and now let's jump through the details. One man is dead after police say that he was shot at while traveling in a vehicle in Rexdale on Thursday afternoon. Police say that an occupant or occupants of a vehicle opened fire on another vehicle in the Finch Avenue West and Westmore Drive area at around 12:45 p.m. One victim was located with gunshot wounds and subsequently pronounced dead on scene. Police say that the suspect or suspects were seen fleeing the scene westbound along Finch Avenue in a black two-door car. No further description has been provided. Taxing commercial parking across Toronto could generate as much as $150 million for the city each year, according to a proposal that is being considered by Mayor Olivia Chow's executive committee on Thursday. Staff are recommending that a city-wide levy be applied on all commercial parking, both public and private, with two distinct geographical zones. Commercial parking in Zone A, defined as downtown and central waterfront, will be taxed $0.49 per parking spot, and all other areas referred to as Zone B will be taxed $0.25 per spot. The levy will include both unpaid and fee-paid parking lots, including surface parking, underground parking, and parking garages. There will be an automatic exemption for the first 300 square meters of parking for each business, which amounts to about 10 parking spaces. If approved by council, the tax could add between $100 and $150 million to city coffers each year, staff said. The city said there are estimated 1 million commercial parking spaces in Toronto and about 23,000 commercial properties will be subject to the levy. Based on an average of 44 parking spots, the impact to an individual business in Toronto is estimated to be between $2,970 and $5,940 per year, depending on location, staff said. For larger businesses, the price tag would be much steeper. The city estimates that a large downtown shopping center with about 144,000 square meters of parking would pay more than $800,000 each year. A large downtown office space with 42,000 square meters of commercial parking would be looking at an annual tax of more than $200,000. While staff note that the primary objective of the tax is to raise money to the cash-strapped city, there are multiple other benefits to commercial parking levy. Staff noted that to effectively bill and collect a parking levy, the city will need to develop and maintain an accurate inventory of parking areas. It is estimated that it could take between 12 and 18 months to develop that inventory, update billing systems, complete testing, and notify commercial property owners. Staff have proposed that the levy be implemented next year. The governing Liberals took their first major step toward national pharmacare Thursday as the health minister tabled a bill that paves the way for a universal drug program and secures NDP support in the House of Commons. But Health Minister Mark Holland made clear there's still a long way to go before all drugs in Canada are covered under a federal program. The bill allows the government to negotiate with provinces and territories to cover birth control along the diabetes drugs and supplies for anyone with a health card. Holland said the cost is likely to be in the realm of $1.5 billion, but he said that estimate is very likely to change over the course of his talks with provinces. He said he believes the government will be able to show significant cost savings in fairly short order. In addition to testing waters on universal coverage, the bill also fulfills a promise made to the New Democrats who touted the legislation Thursday as the fulfillment of a long-held dream. Pharmacare is a central pillar of the political pact between the two parties. which has the NDP helping the Liberals stave off an election in exchange for progress on a list of shared priorities. Its future had seemed uncertain amid a months-long stalemate over the wording of the legislation and the number of drugs they plan to launch with. The NDP announced they clinched the negotiations late last week in the lead-up to the negotiated March 1st deadline to table a bill. Health critic Don Davis, who led the negotiations for the New Democrats, said the final pieces were put in place over the weekend. The legislation makes reference to a single-payer, universal model, something Davis said he insisted on, and it includes universal coverage as the binding principle that must guide the implementation of a future pharmacare program. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre spoke to the media in the foyer of the House of Commons Thursday but walked away when reporters asked him for his position on the government's pharmacare plans. As it stands, Canada is the only country in the world with a universal healthcare system that does not also have universal coverage for prescription drugs outside of the hospitals. In December, the NDP and Liberals agreed to push back the original timeline, which would have seen legislation fully passed by the end of the last year. A full-fledged pharmacare program would cost the government nearly $40 billion a year by the time it is fully up and running, the parliamentary budget officer estimates. Singh threatened to pull out of the deal if the March 1st deadline wasn't met with legislation that earned his approval, though he has opened about a desire to keep the deal alive and see a pharmacare bill debated in the Commons. The bill calls for the minister to put together a committee of experts to make recommendations about how to pay for a national universal single-payer plan within 30 days of the act receiving royal assent. Alberta and Quebec have already said they want to opt out of the program and would rather put the money toward their existing drug plans. On the other hand, British Columbia already covers many contraceptives as part of its provincial pharmacare program, and Manitoba's government has already pledged to do so as well. Ontario also provides many contraceptives for people under the age of 25 who don't have private insurance and has existing programs to support people with diabetes. The provincial government says it wants more information about what the bill will mean for those programs. Singh called it disappointing that provinces would dismiss the program out of hand without seeing the details. Despite the immediate concerns from Alberta and Quebec, Holland said he is very optimistic this is a plan we can deliver across the country. Police are trying to identify a suspect who they say shot a woman in the face with a pellet gun during a random attack in Scarborough on Wednesday morning. The incident occurred outside Mary Shad Public School near McLevin Avenue and Neilson Road at around 11:30 a.m. According to police, a 76-year-old woman was going for her daily stroll along Hupfield Trail when she was approached by a suspect from behind. Suspect, police said, then shot the woman in the hand and face with pellet gun before fleeing the area. She was transported to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries and is currently resting at home, police said during an update on Thursday morning. It doesn't appear to be targeted at this time. It does appear to be random, Constable Laurie McCain told reporters on Thursday. Investigators have released a limited description of the suspect, who was last seen wearing a three-quarter length gray jacket, black pants, and dark-colored covering their face and head. Police have also released photos of the suspect but say the images are not particularly clear. Please check your cameras, McCain said in an appeal to the public. This person may frequent the area and they may have caught them on their camera without even knowing. One person has died after being assaulted outside a downtown Toronto warming center for people experiencing homelessness earlier this week. Constable Laurie McCain told Awaz News that the incident happened just before 1:45 a.m. out front of 75 Elizabeth Street near Bay and Dundas Streets. She said that police received reports of an altercation in the area and that one person has since passed away. McCain said that victim was taken to the hospital in life-threatening condition where he later died. So far, police have made one arrest in the case. However, it is not immediately clear what charges that person is facing. The 60-space City of Toronto Warming Centre on Elizabeth Street is set to transition into a 24-hour respite program in March due to the upcoming closure of the emergency program at Exhibition Place's Better Living Centre. This location is one of 4 warming centers being run by the city during the 2023-2024 winter season. Toronto also has fifth surge site available in downtown Toronto for when the temperature drops below -15 Celsius. Firefighters rushed to a small park in downtown Toronto Thursday morning after a number of propane tanks ignited inside a tent and exploded, causing a smoky fire. Toronto Fire told Awaz News that they were called to Clarence Square near Wellington Street West and Stina Avenue at 9:40 a.m. At the scene, crews saw smoke and flames coming from a tent, Toronto Fire said. Video footage captured by CTV national news journalist shows firefighters spraying water on a tent on fire on the west side of the parkette. A large plume of black and gray smoke is also seen rising into the sky. Toronto Fire said that the fire is now out and that no injuries have been reported. Crews remain on scene and the fire investigation team has been notified, they said. Toronto police also attended the scene. Toronto Blue Jays reliever Eric Swanson's son is out of the pediatric intensive care unit after he was hit by a car in Florida on Sunday. Madison Swanson, Eric Swanson's wife, posted the update and a photo of her 4-year-old son's bruised hand with a hospital bracelet looped around his wrist on Instagram Wednesday night. The most important update is that Toby is out of the PICU and we are continuing to take it day by day, she wrote. Toby sustained serious injuries after he was struck by a 2024 Ford Expedition with a valet driver behind the wheel in a Clearwater Beach, police said in a news release Tuesday. He was transported to Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital in St. Petersburg, Florida by medical helicopter. We are so grateful for the speedy first responders to the accident, Swanson's post went on to say, thanking the pedestrians who stayed at the scene and the overwhelming love and support they have received. We see you, we hear you. It is what has gotten our little boy through all of this. This was all from us today. I'm Kubra Ali, and I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.